I'm ready. Yeah. All right. Good morning, everybody. Today is Daf Daled in Maseches Megillah. So we left off yesterday the bottom line of Gimel Amadeus. Omer Rabbi Shubin Levi says Shubin Levi. Load or lud. The ono, the Geach Harashim, Mukafos Chema Miyamos Yeshudinu. So top of Dalet Amud Aleph now. So these three towns of Lod, Ono, and Gei HaCharashim were walled cities during the time of Yeshua Nun, as our Mishnah mentioned, according to the Machlokes, but our Mishnah held like that anything that was walled from the time of Yeshua Nun reads on the 15th along with the other walled cities. So those were walled during the times of Yeshua Nun. So Gemara asks, "I V'hani Yeshua Baninu, I Yeshua Bdoti." He was the one who was during his time, right? Eliphel Banani, but he didn't build it. Is actually Eliphel built it. The pasuk says over there in Divrei Yamim, Ubnei Eliphel Avar Misham V'Shamar Hu Bona Es Ono Ves Lod B'Nusel. So it says he lists his children, and then he mentions the towns that he built. So he says, according to what you hold that Eliphel, he was the one who built it. Asa Beninu. But Asa was the one who built the Chesiv. The pasuk says Vayiven, right? Then this other thing is in the parentheses, not thing. This is not actually found a pasuk in Tanakh, right? So, but the pasuk which is brought down, another pasuk in Divrei Yamim says Vayiven or Mitzura, but Yehuda. So mentions the towns that are built in Yehuda. Amongst them were Ono and Lod, right? And these were towns in Yehuda. So, and this was mentioned by this was built by Asa. So Omar. So who built it? So did Yeshua build? Yeshua ben Nun build it, or did Eliphel build it, or was it Asa? So Amar Rebbe Elazar Hani Mekafes Chama Miyamos Yeshua ben Nun. These were walled during the times of Yeshua ben Nun. Havi Charuv Bimei Pelegesh Begiva. Then they were destroyed during the fight of Pelegesh Begiva. The Asa Eliphel Baninu. Then Eliphel came along and he built them. He rebuilt them. And Hadar Infel, then he fell down again, and Asa Shabitzinu, and then Asa comes, and then he rebuilt him again. So basically, it was built Yeshua ben Nun. They came down, they were rebuilt, came down again, and rebuilt it once again. The pasuk says, right? Let's build these cities. Right? So he said, let's build these cities. In other words, they're already cities when he wanted to build them. So obviously, there were cities at once upon a time. Then they were breached or they fell down, and then they rebuilt it. So therefore, you know that it was being rebuilt. It wasn't building him from nothing. Fine. Nashim chayavos b'mikra Megillah. Women are chayiv in mikra Megillah. That even though it's a mitzvah shesman grama, nevertheless the women have to go ahead and they're obligated to hear Megillah. She'af heina yo osabanes. Because they were also saved. They were involved in the annihilation of the Jews. Wasn't just the men; it was on the women also. So since they were saved, they're obligated to go ahead and with Mikra Megillah. Rabbi Shimon Levi Purim shechali yis b'Shabbos. Purim that's on Shabbos. Shalom v'dorshin binyan shayom. Then if it's chal on Shabbos, then during that day the drushas should be the binyan hayom. So Gemara says, my area Purim. Why you just Purim? Afilu yantav nami, even yantav the tiny lunar brisa. Moshe tikin liyihem liyisrael. Shishol madoshim binyano shel yom. Halachas hilchas pesach that Moshe Rabbeinu was masakin that they should go ahead and be shayel and dorish. They should learn right the halachas of the holidays of Pesach on Pesach. Hilchas Tateres Batzeres and the halachas of Shavuos on Shavuos. The hilchas Chag and the halachas of Sukkos b'Chag. So why do you have to say that you're supposed to learn on Shabbos? If Purim was on Shabbos, that Shabbos you be darshan the halachas of Purim. It's no different than any other holiday. The rest says no. Purim maybe the Purim is a chiddush. Maybe there's a gzera that which Rabba holds, right? In other words, we'll soon see on Beis the reason why we don't read Megillah on Shabbos, right? Rabba gives a reason, right? One might go ahead and carry it. So since we're very careful not to, read the Megillah, maybe also we don't want to start darshaning. Maybe that will also lead to it. So Kamash Malon, that that we are Sholim B'Darshin Binyano Shal Yom on Purim. And Purim Shechali Yos Shabbos. V'Amar Shimon Levi Chayv Adam Likras Megillah B'Layla Shnei Sabiyah. The person's obligated to go ahead and read the Megillah at night, and then to L'Shneisa, right? L'Shneisa, what does that mean? Right, B'Yom we'll see. Shneimar, the pasuk says, right? Right? So it says call out right during the day, right? And as an answer at night is not silent, right? So therefore it mentions day and night, and we call out that pasuk is all referencing Megillas Esther. So we read Megillas Esther at night and during the day. So so the thought the Havamina was maybe to read the Megillah at night and to learn the Mishnayos, the Masnisim Didei B'Yamama, right? During the day. Now, the Shnaisa doesn't mean to repeat it, right? To repeat the Megillah, maybe it means to learn, the Mishnayos, the halachas of Purim during the day. So Amalu Rabbi Yirmiyah, so says Rabbi Yirmiyah, Ladidim freshly mean Rabbi Chia bar Abba. It was explained to me by Rabbi Chia bar Abba. Kigain the Amar Inshi Avor Parshasa da Vesnia. I will go ahead and learn this parsha, and then I will repeat it. So in other words, and I will repeat it again. So in other words, what it means is that you have to read the Megillah at night and then read it again in the morning and during the day. So which is right the way we're knowing it out. And each man obviously learn number of Yichabel, number of Ula. Bira Chayiv Adam Nikras the Megillah Balayla Gushnaisa B'Yayim. A person is obligated to go ahead and read the Megillah at night and to go ahead and read it again during the day. Shnamar as the pasuk says, "Laman Yizimecha Kavod V'Lo Yidom Hashem L'Kai Lomadeka." Right, as the pasuk says of there, Yizimecha Kavod. Right, is during the day. V'Lo Yidom Will not rest Balayla. In other words, even though the pasuk referencing day before night, but we actually do the opposite. We do night first and then day. Nevertheless, there's two times that we sing out. Once again, this parsha over there is reference to the parsha of Mordechai and Esther, and therefore it says that they call out, they sing out during the day and during the night, meaning referring to Mikra Megillah. Right with Mizbah Shir, yeah. Right.
His obligation is twice, or you can learn it in depth in the morning.
Twice. Yeah. Okay. So over here it says, right, both of them, two obligations.
You learn it in the morning. In the night, you read it.
So that was the Havamina. Right. So that was the Havamina, but it says, no, you have to do it twice. In other words, the same obligation night is during the day. Right, you have to read it twice. Right. All right, 4 lines from the bottom. So the Kfarim, they are maktim liyam knisa. So what's going on here? So we hold, or we say that the cities, everyone reads the 14th, just like it's state in the Megillah, and then it says for villages, right? So there's cities, right? There's walled cities, unwalled cities, and villages. Okay, the smaller. So those villages can come in earlier on Monday and Thursday and read the Megillah. Then people in the town can read it for them on those days. Now. So the Chacham, they were makil on the villages in order for them they can read it early on the Yom HaKnisa, in order and that they should be able to provide, right, the food and the food and water and other stuff for the people in the cities. So the people out in the town, they grew stuff out in the orchards and they would bring their food in on those days. So in order to bring lachem shebekrach, in order to bring for the people in the cities, it seems like it was the benefit for the people in the cities. Now,
right.
So let's see. Why are you telling me that this was a takana for the people of the cities? But now we learn in Mishnah, if if the 14th fell out on Monday, the villages and the cities, right? Not right. They read on that Monday on the 14th. Now, if we want to go ahead and we want them to go ahead and bring their stuff for the people of this of the city before their Purim, in order for them to have for their Suda, let them bring in Yom HaKnisa on the previous Thursday. Let them go ahead and bring it then. So if you push off from the Monday and you go back
to Thursday,
so you had to go back Sunday, Saturday, Friday, Thursday, right? That's 4 days. That's the 10th, right? That's the 10th of Adar. We only learned 2 days they added, which was days 11, 12, and not the 10th. Right. So the Gemara says, okay, so let's see. So Toshma. So there's the next case. Chali is b'chamishi, when it is on a Thursday, then the villages and the cities ran that day. Now, if we want to go ahead and provide the people of the cities with food before their Purim, let the people of the villages go ahead and have them come in on Monday to read the Megillah and bring in the food. The Echad, it's right. It's only 3 days. But the Echad is which is the 11th, right? Yom Knisa. So we're answering them Yom Knisa, Yom Knisa, Lo Yidachin. We don't push from one Yom Knisa to the other Yom Knisa. So Tashma, the Gemara is still not giving up. Rabbi Yehuda, Amasai, when are we talking about? When are we talking about that they can go ahead and read earlier? The people in the villages, when during the times when the people in the villages used to travel to the bigger towns on Monday and Thursday. But at times when they don't come in, and Monday and Thursday, then they only read it on the 14th, whenever the 14th is. But if the whole point is that we want to provide for the people in the bigger cities, right? So because they normally don't come in on Mondays and Thursdays, we want them to lose out. Make the people from the villages come in early for the benefit of the larger cities, right? So Mara says, okay, you're right. Lo tema kadesh. Don't say in order for them to provide the people in the cities. Rather say that it's for the benefit of the people of the villages, right? In other words, for them to bring it in. In other words, they bring it in. But if we would require them to also go ahead and read on the 14th, right? So then they would have to bring, let's say they would bring it in on, let's say Purim falls on a Wednesday, okay? So then they would come in on Monday because they normally bring in stuff for the people of the cities. And then they would have to come again on Wednesday to hear Megillah because they don't know how to read the Megillah, right? So therefore they do provide the food for the people of the cities, but it's not for the reason why they come in is not for the benefit of the people of the cities. They're going to come in early anyways. It's for the benefit that they don't have to make an extra trip to come out to hear Megillah.
But they have to stay to the Wednesday.
Or whatever it is, right? In order to hear Megillah, but this way they can avoid that by just hearing Megillah and going back. So therefore, it is the reason for coming to town is for the benefit of people of the cities, but the reason why we allow them to read early is they don't have to make an extra trip or stay longer, as Yigal pointed out. Fine. That was a reason why the markets were open and the basement was open, because that was like the day of like when people would come in. So that was normally when they come in to sell their wares, because
they didn't have to hear the Megillah when they came in. They could just go back after you go
Right,
back.
that's what we mean.
No, but the point is that once they're there, they can hear the Megillah there, so they could have some.
They're not obligated to, right?
No, but then
So they can hear on $2 if they want.
yeah, but then they have to go back.
Right.
So why make them travel another 2 hours, right? Fine, 2 dots. So so then the Gemara starts, or the Mishnah starts listing up the days. So, first the Gemara answers in terms of, it's sort of a strange question, but Ma'ishna Reisha Denakat Sidura Diyarcha, or Ma'ishna Seifa Denakat Sidura Diyayim. What was the reason? If you look at the Mishnah, right? So the Mishnah starts off talking about the days of the month. The 11th, the 12th, the 13th, the 14th, the 15th, right? And then it goes into days of the week. On Monday, right? Then this is when they read. On Tuesday, this is when they read. Why didn't you go ahead and stick with when you read on the 11th? Okay, so when you read on the 11th is when is when it falls out on Sunday, because then back in the Makisa to the Thursday before, and then so in other words, work it that way. So why did they start out with using the days of the month, and then the Seifa they go by the order of the days of the week. It doesn't go by the order of when they're reading the 11th and reading the 12th and reading the 13th. Rather, they go in the order of the days of the week. This is what happens when Yudal falls on Monday. This is what happens when Yudal falls on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so on and so forth until Sunday. So Gemara answers. So since it actually would turn out opposite, and it was opposite order. When they read on the 11th, it's when it falls on Sunday, right? And then since the days go in order, it would actually go in reverse order. So since we don't want to go in reverse order, it's more masudar if you just go by the order of days of the week and tell you what happens if when Yudal falls on Monday, this is when the people are reading. And Tuesday, right? So make it easier that way, so it doesn't go backwards.
Right.
Fine. So Chalias Erev Shabbos. If it comes to Erev Shabbos, we had a question. I don't recall who, but the question was, one of the main points was when we're pushing off, right?
That's what fell on Shabbos.
Right, when it falls on a Shabbos, when we push it off, why do you push it off then? So the Gemara is going to sort of discuss this issue now. So Masnis and Mani, who is our Mishnah like? So Rebbe Yaisi. It can be like Rebbe or Rebbe Yaisi. So my Rebbe, what's the case of Rebbe? So let's see Rebbe first. The Tanya we're learning about. So Chaliyah is Erev Shabbos. So let's think about this. If it falls out on Erev Shabbos, so the 14th is on Friday. All right. So Kfarim v'Iras Gedos Makdim Liyam Knisa. So villages and the unwalled cities Makdim Liyam Knisa. They read on Thursday. And then the walled cities read on 14th on Friday. On Friday. The walled cities, because they can't read on Shabbos.
Right.
And they can't read on Sunday because Sunday's already the 16th, and we don't allow you to go past the 15th. This is not like our Mishnah. Our Mishnah, this is the Tanakh. And Rebbe says, no. If it's Yudalit is Friday, the walled cities and unwalled cities both read on Friday. Right? Only the villages read the day before on Thursday. On Yom Knisa. Very good. So my time at the Tanakh. What's the reason for the Tanakh? The Pasuk says B'chol Shana Shana. It says the Megillah says B'chol Shana Shana. Ma Kol Shana Shana Iras Kaidin the Mukafin. Just like those years, unwalled cities are always before walled cities. Afghan Iras Kaidin the Mukafin. So we have to do it now. So if the walled cities are reading on the 14th. Then we got to move up the unwalled cities to the 13th. The Gemara says, every year, normally we don't, unless we don't need to, right? We don't push off the walled city, the unwalled cities. So too, we shouldn't push off this year. So it's impossible. If it's basically there are two rules, right? We don't push it off. And we want the walled cities to be after the unwalled cities. So since that rule is more important, therefore we have to push it off. And the Rebbe my time. And according to Rebbe, what's the reason? So he says actually the opposite of what we just learned. Just like every year, right? The walled city, the unwalled cities never get pushed off in their place. So over here, cities don't get pushed off their place. Maybe it should be like every year. That the unwalled cities are before the walled cities. Afkan Nami. So it's over here. Afkan Nami So it's over here now. The unwalled cities should be before the walled cities, and we should move it to the 14th. So once again, he's to the 13th. Excuse me, to the Thursday and 13th. Thank you. It's impossible. So therefore, that was the machlokes between Rebbe and the Tanakh. All right, now. That was Rebbe. So therefore, Rebbe could be like a Mishnah because our Mishnah says it falls on the 14th. Walled cities, unwalled cities, they both read on the 14th. And the villagers, they read it on the Thursday, the 13th. So that could be Rebbe. Or Rabbi Yossi. What is Rabbi Yossi? So my Rabbi Yossi, medium line, first medium line, my Rabbi Yossi beginning line. The Tanya Luna Brisa. Chaliyah is Erev Shabbos. Once again, if it falls out on Erev Shabbos, Mukafim v'kvarim makdim liyam knisa. The walled cities and the villages read on Thursday, on the 13th. And then the large cities read on the 14th, which is Friday. That was the Tanakama. And Rabbi Yossi Amer, no, we don't say the walled cities before the unwalled cities. Rather, both of them read on the 14th. So that's Rabbi Yossi. So my time at the Tanakama, what's the according to Tanakama? The Chassidus Pasuk says, "B'chol shana v'shana." It says every year. Every year, the unwalled cities are on the 14th, and it doesn't have the same time as the walled cities. Afkan. So to over here, so to now, we'll have the unwalled cities on the 14th, and they won't have the same time as the walled cities. It just happens to be normally the walled cities are afterwards, and now the walled cities are going to be before. That's this Tanakh, this Brisa. So it says, maybe learn B'chol Shana Shana a different way. Learn it like this. Just like every year, the walled cities are never before the unwalled cities. So to over here, we should say that the walled cities should not be before the unwalled cities. So the price of the answer, it's not possible. Because they have to move it that day. They can't read on Friday, on Saturday, so they'll just read on Thursday. And Rabbi Yossi, my time is Rabbi Yossi. So b'chol shana shana, ma kol shana v'shana ein mekavin kadin leiros. Afkan, just like every year, the walled cities are not before the unwalled cities. Afkan ein mekavin kadin leiros. So to over here, the walled cities cannot become before the unwalled cities. We can't say the walled cities are on the 13th and the unwalled cities are on the 14th. So therefore they both are on the 14th. Why say like every year? Ma kol shana v'shana is mashazeh lo kizman shazeh. Avkan is mashazeh lo kizman shazeh. Why are we saying this? Maybe the walled cities and unwalled cities never read in the same day. So too. So our answer is no. Shani hachid lefsha. It's not possible. Fine. The Saber Rebbe Ayaras lo dachin yom knisa, and you're telling me Rebbe holds that we don't push off the cities to the Yom Knisa. So the case of Rebbe was the first brayso that we had. The case of Rebbe was when the 14th falls out on Friday. So the walled cities read on that day, so Tanakama held that the city moves up, but according to Rebbe, it doesn't move up. It stays on there on the unwalled city. The unwalled cities stay with the cities on the 14th, which is like our Mishnah. Right. So it says, if it falls out on Shabbos, it's the 14th of Shabbos, the villages read on Yom Knisa, Viras Gedolos, Karim Be'erev Shabbos, according to this. So Thursday is the villages, which is the 12th, Friday is the 13th, would be the unwalled cities, and Sunday would be the 15th, would be the walled cities. And Rebbe says, no, since we're already pushing off the cities, right? They can't read on Shabbos, so therefore we might as well push them off to the Yom Knisa, to Thursday, to that date. So the Gemara says, no, Hachi Hashta, Hasam Zmanam Shabbos. Over there it's Shabbos. Normally you don't push it off if you don't have to. So but over there, since it's Shabbos, once we're pushing it off, then we push off the Yom Knisa. In other words, but we're not going to push off from a Friday just to move it to a Thursday randomly, only if we need to do it.
You don't mean push it off, you mean push it back.
Oh, move it up.
When you're moving it back. You're moving from Friday to Thursday.
Right, or pushing it, like make it earlier.
Yeah.
I'm just
trying to figure out if you're going.
Right. No, we never push it later. Right. So guys says, fine. So over here, so over here the time is Yudal is Friday. So read it Friday. Since we don't need to push it off, we're not going to push it off unless it's Shabbos. So come on, Azla Hadam Rabbi Chelba. Who did Rabbi Chelba says Amar Rav Huna. Purim Shechalia is b'Shabbos. If Purim is Yudal is on Shabbos, Hakol Nidchin Yom Knisa. Everything is pushed off to the Yom Knisa, to Thursday. So Hakol Nidchin, right? Sagadaisa, right? What do you mean? Everybody, villages, unwalled cities, walled cities. What do you mean? The walled cities should read the next day on the 15th on Sunday. Rather, what it means is whoever's being pushed off is Yidchel Yom Knisa. They're pushed off all the way, not just to Friday, but even to Thursday. So come on, who is that like that? Rebbe. That's the opinion of Rebbe. Fine, period. The Kulei Alma Miha Megillah b'Shabbos l'Kirinan. Everybody seems to hold this one principle that we don't read Megillah on Shabbos. My time. What's the reason? So Merabah Hakol Chayav b'Kriya Megillah. Everyone is obligated to Kriyas Megillah. They not call Bekim Megillah, but not everyone knows how to read Megillah, right? Not everyone knows how to read properly. Read Hebrew, and even can read Hebrew to read the proper psukim with the trumpet and all that, right? So what's going to happen if everyone has to read even on Shabbos? We're concerned that perhaps people are going to go ahead and carry the Megillah to someone who knows how to learn, to teach them how to do it, and therefore they're going to violate Shabbos by carrying on Shabbos our dalamos. Therefore, we say, you know what? One is not obligated to read Megillah on Shabbos. We'll move it off. Behind the time of the shofar, behind the time of the lulav, and this is the reason of shofar, and this is also the reason for lulav that we don't shake it on Shabbos. Rav Yosef Amar, Mipnei Shenem Shanim Nesuas b'Mikra Megillah, right? Because the poor people, right? Because they look forward to the day where they read the Megillah to receive their Matanos Havyanim, and therefore, since they can't get it on Shabbos, right? So therefore, we want them to be able to get their Matanos Havyanim. So therefore, we'll move Mikra Megillah, and therefore they'll be able to go ahead and get their gifts on non-Shabbos. Fine. So Tanya someone learn we say the Kfarim villages Makdim Yom Knisa. Goyvim ba b'yom u'machalkim ba b'yom. Right. So it says, nevertheless, we go ahead, and even though we say they go to the Knesset, nevertheless, we also collect on that day in the Yom Knesset for the benefit of the poor people. We distribute. So it says, even though, right, even though we move into Yom Knesset, we collect and distribute that day. You said it wrong. It's Mishum Damra. It says, because they go to the Yom Knesset, therefore, that Thursday, we also go ahead and collect and distribute money. Right? Right? They said no, because the villages are said to go ahead and move their Mikvah Megillah to the Yom Knisa. Therefore, in those days are the days where we go ahead and collect and distribute the money to the poor people. Aval, just turn the page. One last couple words. So, Aval, Simcha. Eina nahages el bezmana. But the simcha, in other words, the simcha was the Shalmaichel and Mishta. There's bezmana even on Shabbos. So that simcha is even on Shabbos, according to the Gemara, right? We don't do that now, right? But we don't have the Suda on Shabbos. But according to him, the simcha is nohages bezmana, which would be even on Shabbos. All right, we'll stop here. Never had.